Thank you for joining me on another podcast episode of Hangin with Mr. Francis podcast. I am your host, Mr. Francis, and this is episode 30, Be You. And why I chose this title, I will get into that in a few moments. But before I do, I want to thank our sponsors at Bold and Wonderful Digital Art Prints. That's again, Bold and Wonderful Digital Art Prints. They're a art dealer in a sense of a digital form of art. They sell their arts through Etsy.com, and they have digital arts that they've created that you can download and print yourself. Very affordable. They have wide selection, and I think their selection is going to grow with time, obviously. I've seen them start at a lowest point, and now they've reached over 100 plus designs that they've created. Some simple things, motivational, all that good stuff, some sports inspired, but at the same time they have grown to what they are now. They are consistently gaining 5 stars, and they've surpassed 150 sales recently, so congrats to them. Round of applause. And to be quite honest, we are very humbled, or myself is very humbled, to be sponsored by this digital art print store. So again, visit them at boldandwonderful.ca, and they are called Bold and Wonderful Digital Art Prints. Check them out. The web link will bring you directly to their Etsy store, where you can purchase, download, and print the art and share it with others as a gift or whatever it may be. Now, on to the episode. However, before I do start the episode, I just want to say thank you to everyone that has tuned in to the episode, that has shown support, that has continued to show support. I love you. I appreciate you. Thank you for being you. Thank you for being you. You got to be you, and that's what I'm being. I'm being myself, and that's what I like to do. I like to be authentic. I don't care what anyone else thinks. If you think this is a shitty podcast, I don't care. The point of the matter is, I'm doing this because I want to do it, because I love to do it. I don't mind doing this if it gets low views. But I would like to say I have attained 1,000K views between both YouTube channels that I run, this podcast YouTube channel and the Altered Optic Media Group podcast YouTube channel. I'm a little word jumbled right now. So we've surpassed 1K views, and right now with this channel for the podcast, we're aiming to go for 500 plus views. We're almost there. Just a little bit more leg room to go, and that's where we want to head. So let the fireworks off. Yeah, let it off. It's much needed, and I'm greatly appreciated for those who continue to support and show love. The point of this episode, which won't be a long episode this week or today or whenever I release this, the point of this episode is I just want to quickly touch on the subject of being you, being authentic. I tend to not follow trends. That's just me. I don't follow trends. I don't deal with that shit. I used to when I was young. Give or take, I was learning. I had a lot to learn, I should say. And I didn't follow I followed trends then, but as I got older I realized, be yourself. You don't need to follow all these new TikTok trends, IG trends, or whatever, Twitter, whatever. Be yourself. Now, you can learn from others to then develop your brand, develop what you want to do or what you like to do and what you to mold yourself to how you want to go, but you don't have to follow what everyone else does. You can take some framework from what you see from others and build upon yourself. Be yourself. I don't follow none of that bull. I don't. I just be myself. I speak my truth. I say my own opinion. One of my main goals that I want to achieve is eventually switch from audio only podcast, which is what I'm doing right now, to video podcasting. And then I want to eventually bring more guests and so forth. Right now, I have these two channels, the main podcast channel and the Altered Optic Media Group channel, which houses the Digital Dads podcast and the Venture Towards Success podcast. Eventually, I may port over to there, but right now I'm going to strictly keep this YouTube channel strictly for this podcast. And I feel it's necessary. I'm going to talk about some outlandish shit eventually in this podcast. I've probably already talked about a few things if you go to the past episodes, that I don't want to intermingle with that side of things, and I want to keep it raw and uncut here. And that's how I like it. I just like to keep it strictly how I want to. And this, as I said, will not be very much long of an episode. I just want you to understand you don't have to follow trends. As much as I'm not gaining as much traction as I would like for this podcast channel or the YouTube channel in general, I'm still going to continue being myself. And you should too. But if you don't want to, go ahead, follow trends. If you want to do whatever you want to follow trends and fit in with the crowd, go right ahead. But I'd rather stick to my own path, stick to my own lane. Whether that lane that I'm taking takes a long time to achieve what I want to achieve, I can definitely know if I ever reach a point, not if I ever, I will. When I reach that point, I can look back and say, I didn't sell out. Obviously, I would love to get some type of capital in doing this, but if I ever attain something that goes beyond it and I'm speaking to existence, I will attain that. I know that I accomplished it by being myself. And whether it works or not, it is what it is. But as I said, I'm speaking into existence. I know that's kind of stupid of me saying that, but things take time. I understand that. I've seen multiple people do certain things. I've studied it. But I'm doing this. I start out by doing this for fun, right? Not just for fun, but because I want to speak my truth, speak my mind, and maybe have conversations that a lot of people don't want to have conversations about. Let's be real. We live in a world now where everything's a touchy subject. Everyone wants to get canceled. I'm not trying to get canceled. I'm just trying to be myself. And I feel like a lot of us have ventured away from being ourselves and following what's the next thing, right? Excuse my French. Fuck all that. I ain't trying to go down that road. I'm going to be myself. I'm going to be me. So you should be you. And if you want to follow the trends, go right ahead. No one's stopping you. This is strictly my opinion. But I always say, if you want peace, be you. Because if you follow other trends, trying to be others, you're never going to find peace. You're just going to continue lying to yourself. And believe me, lying to yourself is not a great feeling. I'm going to be totally honest with you. I did it when I was younger. I didn't find peace. It took me time to find my niche, and I found it. And I'm continuing to learn more about myself when I'm being myself, because that's how you grow. And that's what I'm going to continue to do to grow, is be myself. So I'm glad I've reached this point of 30 episodes, right? I'm glad I've reached this point because I have a lot more to throw out there. Just bear with me. I'm now getting my legs under me on what it is that I'm trying to do with this podcast. Trial and error. I always say trial and error. You try things, you correct a few things, and then you elevate. And you continue doing that until you get it to the point where you want to. Like I said, one of my main goals for this channel is to go from audio to video. I'm speaking that into existence. But point is, I'm going to continue being myself, and I'm going to keep stressing that in this episode. I'm going to be myself. I'm not going to put on a show for anyone. I'm just going to be me. Don't expect me to follow trends. I don't do that shit. Okay? And neither should you. But that's just my opinion. Do whatever the hell you want to do. But if you want peace, like I mentioned, be yourself. You'd be surprised how far that takes you. Again, thank you for joining me for this episode of Hangin with Mr. Francis podcast. Again, I am your host, Mr. Francis. This again was episode 30. Can't believe I've made it this far. Thank you very much. From Mixcloud to YouTube, and who knows where this will take me. Eventually I might go on to Spotify. I might go on to Apple podcast. Who knows what the new year brings. 2022 is almost closed out, but again, this was episode 30. Be you, and that's all you can do, is be yourself, be authentic, be raw. Just do whatever it takes to reach that next level, but don't do too much shit that doesn't make any sense, that will take you away from who you are. All right, I hope this reaches anyone and everyone who chooses to listen to this podcast. I appreciate you. Thank you for growing the podcast to where it is. I think I have 13 followers at this point. It's more than enough than I ever expected to. I could only add 1 or 2, but I have 13. That's great. And I love you all. I thank you for the support. I'm going to continue being myself, and I'm going to continue bringing new episodes. I'm going to try to push the boundaries and give you new, fresh content. And that's the main goal, and that's the ultimate goal, from audio to video, maybe in the near future. Fuck it. Not maybe. It will be in the future. So like I said, I'm just rambling right now. So let me just end it off here. Thank you again for tuning in. I appreciate you. Thank you for tuning in, and I'll see you in the next episode. Peace.